this is important to remember that when people like Hasan always talk about like, oh, well, I just want to improve your material conditions. It's like, well, in his mind, what that means is you don't own your home or your car. So
That's how it improves my material
that's
conditions.
right. Of
Wow.
course.
Seems like
And
they're taking a hit.
and the massive hypocrisy for Hasan too, which, as you said, he owns a fucking fancy sports car.
The way that it should work, I think, is that if you want to get a car, you have to get like penalized for it, basically, in that structure. And the same goes for wanting luxury housing. I see housing as a necessity, and homes are for living in it rather than a speculative asset in the way that it works in the United States of America. And we've sold to the Americans that this concept is good and it actually invokes freedom, just as we have done with our car reliant infrastructure. Oh, you have your own car, you have so much freedom. You don't have to sit with the rest of the public in a subway or whatever, but that creates unimaginable traffic density. It's worse for the climate overall. It even has economic issues associated with it. And the same goes for housing too.
Yeah. So look, I mean, I don't necessarily know what he's saying, because the problem with housing is it is becoming a luxury good. Housing is so expensive that only rich people can afford it. That's the problem. We need it to be cheap.
Well, no, see, because like what he's saying is like fucking retarded. Okay. So he's saying is that he wants a scenario where the government controls so much that they will provide public housing to 99% of the population. And if you're part of the 1% rich, then you can spend a lot of money on your own private house. But beyond that, no one else should be able to buy a house whatsoever. It should all just be government housing. And then that should also apply to fucking cars. To force everyone to use public transportation. Talk about the social engineering here, which Cenk even brings up.
Well, and the inefficiency. Oh my God.
Like, but this is why this is so fucking insane. You're like, wait a minute. Like, what is this like weird moral condition that he's attaching? Like he thinks that a moral society forces everyone to use public transportation. That is a moral good. You have to it should be available if it's more useful and it's beneficial, which I agree. Then that's fantastic. If you can, use if there's a train or whatever or subway that you can get on and it's better for you, fantastic, and it's clean and safe, like go for it. That's great.
If they can compete with the private market and you go, okay, this train is way more economical than me buying a car.
Right.
Then
you look
great.
at some country like Japan where they have all sorts of like crazy trains and shit, and it's like super like useful and beneficial, like fantastic.
Yeah, you're not going to get stabbed or mugged.
Of course. Right. They run super on time. That's all fantastic. But the idea that like, no, we need to literally force people to use public transportation by making the cost of cars hyper expensive, not just make it so it's like they're incentivized. No, they have to be forced. And this is why all these people like Hasan, they are at their core, their ideology is massively authoritarian, because they don't actually care about freedom of choice of any individual. They are going to tell you what to do. They're going to tell you what is right.
Yeah, exactly. And if they're wrong about climate change, oh, well, who cares?
Yeah.
You had fun getting stabbed in the subway.
And so this is important to remember that when people like Hasan always talk about like, oh, well, I just want to improve your material conditions. It's like, well, in his mind, what that means is you don't own your home or your car. So
that's how it improves my material conditions.
Right.
Wow.
Of course.
Seems like they're taking a hit.
And the massive hypocrisy for Hasan too, which, as you said, he owns a fucking fancy sports car.
$100,000 car. $100,000
car. This motherfucker wants to make cars more expensive for you and his audience, and yet he drives around a $100,000 sports car. He wants to make houses more expensive for you, because you have to be relegated to public housing, but he, owns a multi-million-dollar house in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So
probably worth $6 million now.
Right. This is the guy who wears designer clothing everywhere. This is a guy who it was funny. I noticed that he had his watch. I was curious as what his watch was, because I sort of noticed it. And I looked it up. So, and there was a Reddit about it. So he's wearing, not only is he wearing an Apple Ultra 3 watch, okay, which is some fancy watch that alone on its own cost like $800, but he had a custom band. He has the custom expensive Apple band, which nets you another $1,000. So he's got an $1,800 watch that he's just, and this is the socialist who's telling you, okay. And it's so funny because remember, whenever you can complain about like, whenever someone criticizes Hasan's exorbitant amount of wealth spending on luxury cars and luxury homes, he always says, what? A socialist means that I can't live in a home, that I can't drive in a car. I was going to say, like with a watch, socialism means I don't know what time it is.
How does he not realize that that watch exists because people wanted to make profit? How does that watch exist in a no profit world? How does that fucking car exist in a no profit world?
Listen, Adam.
How do these designer clothes exist? How do they come into being?
Everyone knows that Apple, would just make these products out of the love of the game. Obviously.
The love of the game.
Yeah. That's why Apple does anything, just the love of the game.
These people are stupid. These people are stupid. Not everyone can compete in this profit motive game, right? But the fact that the profit motive game exists is a great thing. Otherwise, we wouldn't have all of these products and services. It's like not everyone can compete in the Olympics, right? But the fact that the Olympics exists is great. It's great.
CS Paffy for $20 says, I saw the brightest falling star I think anyone has ever seen this past weekend. Well, I'm glad you saw it. I wished that matchmaker Adam found a way to attract enough women to the stream, and not only for me to find a wife, but also a wife for all of A-Team. Look at CS Paffy. No wives for S-Class, only for A-Team.
Oh my goodness. That's the best super chat yet. Look at that.
So see if Passy wished upon a falling star for waifus for all of A-Team.
Not only that, the brightest falling star he's ever seen.
There you go.
Yes.
Beautiful.
This wasn't the sunset? This wasn't the setting sun?
Right.
All right.
All beef hot dog for $20. Thank you so much. Says mail truck is currently stuck in 2 feet of snow, 20 degrees outside. Oh no. No working heater inside the truck. Oh my God. Get out of there. What's happening? Call the police.
You're in the mail truck? You're
yes.
A mail carrier?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Use your phone for warmth. But I got the Sitch Adam show to keep me warm. S-Class reigns supreme and A-Team is the best class. Well,
look at this. That's funny.
Are you telling me, all beef hot dog, that you would not sit in a truck covered in snow and 20 degrees outside for the love of the game if you weren't getting paid to do it?
Oh, I know.
Is that what you're telling me?
Completely ridiculous.
Yes.
Completely ridiculous.
I'm not an expert on housing or car regulations or anything, but my general sense of it is no.
I hate that Cenk says that, because that line really ticks me off, because he's basically implying that Hasan, the dumbest motherfucker on the internet, is. When he said, look, I'm not an expert on housing or cars. What the fuck? Like Hasan is.
Yeah, that's a good
like
point.
Hasan is.
Yeah.
You probably know 10 times more about running a business than Hasan does, Cenk. And here you are completely just bending over for him.
Yep.
Here, just slap me around. Let me make you look good. Here, let me fillet you for a while in front of your entire audience. I'm just a dumb internet pundit who don't know nothing about no cars or no houses.
So there's nothing wrong with disagreement, but I don't agree. So when you talk in bare necessities, make sure people don't die in the streets. I totally agree, right? I think that everyone agrees. I think that even the right wing agrees to that. I hope.
I don't think they do, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that if you said to them shelter for homeless people, they would generally say yes, partly to get them off the streets, but partly because, they think they should have shelter, right?
Oh, yeah. So, congestion pricing in New York City.
Look, it's so ironic because the right just believes in karma. They think people tend to get what they deserve. And they think homeless people who are on the street are there because they're drug addicts or they fucked over everyone in their family. So they don't have anyone that can take them in. So they think they're just desserts for being a piece of shit person. Look, I think there's plenty of people who get cut off at the knees and are probably in the streets because of utter misfortune. So,
yeah.
But at the same time, I think there are plenty of people in the streets that probably do have it coming, who are probably pieces of shit and ended up there because they fucked over everyone. So
is like a move in the right direction of this sort as well. Like making it more costly to be able to drive a vehicle actually increases the use for public transit, because then people are like, all right, well, I'd rather utilize public transit then.
I'm mixed on social engineering. So I don't want to penalize people for getting houses. I don't see the point of it. And I think that the wealth creation we did for the middle class in America with houses was amazing. It was one of the best things we've ever done in American history. In fact, part of my
but that was social engineering.
Well, first of all, you can say any city planning is social engineering.
Yeah.
A bridge is
Everything
social engineering, right?
It goes back to the same.
This is such bullshit too, because it's conceptualizing it as wealth creation is part of the problem, because in order to fix the housing thing, all of that wealth that you so-called created needs to be taken away, right? The price of housing needs to be cut in half. So you didn't create a bunch of wealth. You created a bunch of fake wealth, a bunch of wealth on paper, right? You told people, oh, your house is worth $2 million, when really the price of the house should be like 200 grand. So you didn't really create any wealth at all. It's such bullshit. They need to stop that mentality about houses being some rare work of art. My house is a Picasso. What is yours? They need to think of it more as something mass produced, right? A couch. We just stamp these things out. Everyone gets one. You have a couch. You have a couch.
Concept, yes. All matter of governance is technically.
Well, there's this weird social engineering point too, which is bullshit. Which is, there's a difference between saying, okay, the government has decided that we think it's better if everyone can own a home, right? That is a thought. Most people say, okay, that's good. We think people should own a home. They should have their own house. They should have their own private property. This all feels like, okay, this is something that aligns up with 99% of people's moral intuitions, moral values, except for the Hasan Pikers of the world, right? That's very different than the, quote, actual social engineering of saying, well, I want to make it so that cars are so expensive that the average person can't afford to buy them. And he's going to say, well, that's just another form of social engineering. Therefore, you can't criticize it.
I know, it's
well, I can criticize in terms of that it's fucking, the ends of that is fucking insane, and that the moral idea behind it is a fucking stupid one.
Right.
The authoritarian. Wait.
First of all, you can say any city planning is social engineering. A bridge is
everything
social engineering, right?
It goes back to the same concept. Yes, all matter of governance is technically authoritarian.
There you go.
And then he just takes it all the way.
It's all just authoritarian. And this is all, by the way, he says, Hasan brings all this stuff as it's all excuses to justify him doing or advocating for authoritarian things. They say, well, technically everything's authoritarian, so you can't use that to criticize me. Checkmate. Tips Fedora. Give me the updates on Reddit.
And then he goes out there in white knights for the pedophiles. It's pretty hilarious.
And
no, you could agree, and once you agree, then you execute, right?
Yeah, but
so it's centralized.
But there's still going to be people that don't
point
agree.
Of contact, right?
Yeah, no, but people are still always going to disagree. It's just that it's for the disagreeers. That's technically authoritarian. For a pedophile, it's authoritarian that the government doesn't want him to kids. You know what I mean? Like that.
Well, I know, but then
look at Hasan here standing up for the pedophiles.
Well, I mean, if you don't want the government to make it so that you can't buy a car, well, that's the same thing as putting pedophiles in prison. Checkmate. Snip, snap.
Right. Arresting pedophiles is fascism now. Interesting framing, Hasan.
Oh, God.
Why did he jump to the pedophiles immediately? Why are pedophiles on his mind so much?
I don't know. That's like,
and
I have
why?
no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Whatsoever.
Very strange.
Look at his face. He looks way too happy with this pedo argument.
I know, he does. He understands the pedophile perspective. as well as Mr. Girl. I mean, he should probably have Mr. Girl on.
It's interesting. It is interesting.
In theory,
we're stretching the definition of authoritarian, because the authoritarian is one person controlling everyone.
Alan Dershowitz.
Well, Barry Weiss thinks so, and he's more charismatic than you, apparently, according to Barry Weiss.
Yeah, even though
I found deeply amusing.
Even though, Barry Weiss is trying to get me to debate Ben Shapiro, who was sitting next to her when she said that. So that was doubly funny for me. I was like, damn, you guys have been trying to set up a debate between me and Ben Shapiro. Why are you saying I need to be deplatformed?
Yeah.
Do you think Hasan is worth $100 million? That's what they
fuck no.
The free press from Barry Weiss for. $100 million. A cool 1/10 of a billion, Sitch.
A lot.
How much do you think Hasan's podcast is worth? Ain't no 100 million. No. Jesus, give me a break.
Listen, it's probably worth a few million. Okay, it's not chump change, but
a few million.
Sure, not 100
million.
Yeah, I know. There's a big difference.
Yeah,
and apparently you're not.
But this is always the tactic that these dishonest extremists always use, where they advocate for something crazy and extreme, and then the way they do it is not to make some sort of moral argument on why it's good. It's them use like word games to be like, well, I mean, it's just like the government putting pedos in prison. It's just to use these like weird word games. And the reason that these word games are effective is because people generally, we understand that in order for things to be fair, there should be some sort of like universal rule or law or principle that applies to everything in all circumstances or situations. And a lot of things are just, we all take for a given that you don't really like think about it. You don't really think about, like, most people don't walk around thinking about the morality of putting pedos in prison. We all just sort of understand and agree that that's a bad thing and that we should put those people in prison. And so then you kind of get blindsided.
Putting them in prison is good.
Yes, is a good thing. It's a moral thing to put the pedos in prison. It's not authority, and that we would never.
The wood chipper. You know, sometimes the wood chipper is down, and you're like, okay, let's lock them up for a while until we can get this thing fixed.
Right. And we would never conceptualize that as authoritarian. Right. And now, if you really thought about it, you could get, there's a multitude of reasons.
Freedom written on the side of our wood chipper.
Right. Exactly. And there's a multitude of reasons about, well, it's like they're infringing on other people's rights or harming other people, as well as that society as a whole has come together and deemed that this behavior is immoral and unacceptable, blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a whole litany of obvious reasons why you could go through with this. But most people, you're not really thinking about that because you don't walk around like making arguments, assuming that you're going to have to argue with some fucking pedo about this conversation.
Pedo apologist. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so you could be completely blindsided in a debate or an argument or a conversation with someone where they're like, well, technically it's authoritarian to pedos. And you're like, okay, I guess, but fuck you.
Thank you. I'm in favor of authoritarianism now.
Right. And so it's all obviously a deceptive, dishonest technique in order to get you to either accept the weird pedo shit or maybe also to get you to accept whatever crazy shit they want to advocate for, because they want to weaken the claim and the title of authoritarian just so that they can act authoritarian and no one can really complain about it or criticize it.
Hasan's authoritarianism is you have to live under a bridge and ride the crime-ridden subway.
Right.
My authoritarianism is we rid the streets of pedophiles.
Terrible.
Which authoritarianism are you going to go with?
Terrible, Adam. I can't. They're literally the same picture. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch Adam show. Most of the time we stream Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we stream during the week. Come join us. You guys are going to love it. It'll be great.